Most people roll into the Seder and they know this part. So then what's the point? We have to delve deeper to understand what's really going on. Every moment has a theme, and every nuance matters. And when you go through it, you come out a different person. So that's what we're going to explore together. The themes, the lessons, the reasons, the purpose. Because that's what this is really all about. We're charting along in the Haggadah, and we get to a next passage that on the surface seems to be there because of the previous passage, right? We just spoke about 5 rabbis in Bnei Brak. One of them was Elazar ben Azariah. And so now we're speaking about him again, and this time Elazar ben Azariah comes to say, Harary ani kivin shivim shana. I'm like 70. I'm like 70. I never was zocha to say Yitzias Rayim Balelos until Ben Zoma came up with this drasha. So on the surface, it seems like, okay, he's one of the rabbis. It's night. We're saying Yitzias Mitzrayim. This works out perfectly. But what's really going on? And that could be one answer, but let's go a little bit deeper. Understand there's a theme here, and this theme we've seen before, but the Haggadah is driving it home. Now, just for a second, what does it mean, Harary ani kivin shivim shana? So famously, the Gemara speaks about this story, that Gamliel was the Nasi. For a period of time, he was taken out being a Nasi, and they needed someone to replace him. They asked Elazar ben Azariah, who had everything going for him. The only limitation, so to speak, was that he was 18. He accepted it, and a miracle occurred. And a miracle occurred, and his beard at 18 was dark. It became white. And so, although he was 18, he appeared older, and which is why it says, Harary ani ke ben shivim shana. I am like 70. It's a cool little thing. But what is going on here? So he says, watch how the words play out. V'lo zachisi. I did not have the schus. I wasn't worthy to say Yitzias Mitzrayim Balelos. At night, we say Yitzias Mitzrayim. By Shema, by Marv, we're speaking about Yitzias Mitzrayim. I believe this is what they're talking about. What does that mean? Ad shedarsher ben Zomar. Ben Zoma was Dorish. This following line. L'ma'an tiskor as yom seischa me'eretz Mitzrayim kol yemei chayecha. You have to remember leaving Egypt every day of your life. Now, just pause for a second. How cool is it? Can you imagine being during that period of time where like these tzadikim are, they know, and it's their duty and honor and ability to understand the psukim, and they would crack them open and pull out practice, and they would debate over it. It's amazing. Like, I can only imagine what that Beis Medrash was like. But at the Beis Medrash, there was a line, there was a pasuk, and they were debating what that pasuk means. The rabbis, the Chachamim, hold, what does that mean? Kol yemei chayecha. It means Yemei chayecha would be olam hazeh in this world, and kol yemei chayecha means lahavili mosa Mashiach. But what does that mean? So if you look at the Gemara, it's pretty clear. What that means is that Ben Zoma is saying, wait, why would you mention Yitzias Mitzrayim in Mashiach? When Mashiach comes, the whole world's going to change. Yitzias Mitzrayim was Egypt. Okay, it was the beginning of our nation, but the evolution of our whole history is Mashiach. We're going to be still mentioning Yitzias Mitzrayim. We're not going to say it anymore. We're going to be so overwhelmed with the new miracles. The whole world is going to know Hashem. The whole world will be redeemed. We're going to go back to Mitzrayim. And they said, we're not going to get rid of it. The world will be the primary, and Yitzias Mitzrayim will be the tafel. Okay, so the way the rabbis understand this piece is the foundation of Yitzias Mitzrayim that we have will never go away. It's who we are. What we're doing tonight and sitting around the table and talking about and expounding it. Remember we spoke about this with a game film. Remember a couple of episodes ago. The going through it and the game film and Harary Meshubach. That's work that is never going to go away. Even during Mashiach, we're going to still remember where Hashem took us, which means if our knowledge of Egypt is surface, we're missing it. The depth and the principles of Egypt will be there forever. Okay. Ben Zoma comes in and goes, that's not what it means. And here I want to go back to the Maharal. Maharal says, Ki hayom v'layla hem shnei hafachim. Remember we spoke about this last time in the story of the five rabbis in Bnei Brak. Yom and Laila they're opposites. Laila is gullus, right? Laila is exile. Laila is the darkness, the hiddenness. Yom is geula. Yom is redemption. V'yanira ki ein hazman shalayla ro'oy lahaskir tziyas Mitzrayim. When it's time for night, you don't mention geula. You don't have the ability to be strong in your emunah. That strength, that remembering, that ability to tap into the geula doesn't happen at night. Now remember, this is taking place. When is he having this conversation? When is he saying lo zachiti? When is Elazar ben Azariah realizing this? This is after the times of the destruction of the Bayis Sheni. This is when it is. And he is now in Laila. He is in exile. Do you mention geula? Do you believe in geula? Is it coming? Do you have to wait for it? Shimora al geula va'ora. When you mention it, you're talking about geula and ora. Aval ben Zoma comes and says, "V'limit shekol yemei chayecha." You know what kol yemei chayecha is? The Maharal says, "Lahavi halayla," even in the darkness. Lamar shagam bizman shalayla sheyesh bor hesper panim yesh lahaskir es yitzia v'geula. You mention it. Remember we spoke about the Toldos Yaakov Yosef, who quoted his Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov, that just by mentioning that Hashem is hidden takes away the hiddenness, because now you know He's there. What Ben Zoma is saying is, in darkness, there's still Hashem. You got to be strong. He's still there. It's happening. There's one unfolding reality here. That mentioning is part of the process here. That's the theme. The theme of tonight is that even in darkness is light. The theme of tonight is you're mentioning geula in Laila. This exact pachad, this exact story, this exact Maharal is a corollary to the previous one, where the rabbis got together to say, we're saying it all night long. Elazar ben Azariah is saying, this is what you do every night. It's not just by Pesach. Think about how the Haggadah lays this out. The Haggadah first says, at Pesach, the rabbis got together. Yes, there are moments like holidays and then Yontifs when you get together in Pesach and you remember Hashem loves us. And then Elazar ben Azariah comes and says, wait, it's not just by Pesach. It's every single night. It's every single moment. It's in your personal life. We have to remember that Hashem is with us. We have to hold on to our faith always. As Rav Hutner says in his mimer, redemption may be recalled not only in times of clarity, but in times of concealment. I remember I had this conversation with a friend of mine who was growing in his Judaism. He's an older individual. And I remember he told me, he called me, we were talking about but it was right after Corona, or during Corona. And he said to me, I came down my stairs one day. My kids are in college. They're not that connected. And they're watching CNN. And the other room is me and my wife, who are very inspired. And we're watching Torah anytime. This is what he tells me. So I'm listening, and think about like sitting in my stairs. To my right is my living room with CNN. To my left is my kitchen with Torah Anytime. And CNN's like death, destruction, we're dying, it's his fault, we're dying. There's like a ticker of death. And in Torah Anytime is we're going to win, we'll be fine, we got this. And he called me, he says, did you have a meeting? Like, how'd you know? You know what the answer is? This is Ben Zoma's drasha. Kol yemei chayecha. Every single day you mention Mitzrayim. Periods of darkness. What happened when the world went dark and everyone went stuck in their houses? You went online, every single person was saying, we got this. Strong, emunah, faith. The world was throwing up death tickers. And we were all of us, in every one of the nuances of this whole religion. Yes, we can. Get strong. Faith in Hashem. We can go do. Why? How? Just because was there some kind of conference? No. Did Hashem make a baskol and say, everybody say no. What happened was this. It's this. It's because we mention Yetzias Mitzrayim every night. That's what it means. That's why Elazar ben Azariah, I believe, says, Zachiti. Now I'm worthy, I realize. Hashem's with me all the time. Watch these two stories play into each other, the brilliance of these two stories. The first story, the night and light, right? The Maharal, it's both the Maharal. This is the Maharal's approach. First story, the rabbis on Pesach night, right? Those moments, those big moments. The second story, individual, every single night of the week. Big moments and small moments. When there's darkness, we hold on to our faith, and then that leads to the light. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for this series. I hope that you enjoyed, and I hope that it enhances your Seder and brings you closer to Hashem. We have some cliff notes for you in case you want a Seder companion. You can download it. Check out the series and the downloadable stuff at pesach.us, pesach.us, and hope you have a great holiday, and may we see the full redemption soon.